Warning, the following video may contain spoilers, mature themes, and immature commentary. Viewer discretion is advised.
Alright guys, just in case the intro montage wasn't quite clear enough, in this video I'll be reviewing Dragon Age Inquisition. So I was a little hesitant to do this review. I'm a huge fan of Dragon Age Origins and I was kind of worried this might tarnish the awesome memories, but I did finally get around to it, so here's what I think. I figured I'd start off with just a bit of background information. Dragon Age Inquisition was released in 2014 by BioWare, published by EA. And it's since been released on most consoles, Microsoft, Sony, what have you. And it's also released on the PC, which is the glorious version I played. So Inquisition is the third part in the Dragon Age series. But if you guys are willing to pretend Dragon Age 2 never happened, so am I. So we could say it's the second part. Fucking Dragon Age 2. Anyway, first thing I notice is this game does a piss poor job of leading the player. You start off in a cutscene where the main character is coming out of the Fade, and then it just jumps to you being arrested and interrogated. I mean, the interrogation's a pretty boring part of the game, but definitely the worst part of the interrogation isn't what they do to you. It's not being tied up, it's not being imprisoned, it's hearing Cassandra's fucking voice. If you don't know what that means, just you'll see in a little bit. I'm not sure what type of accent that's supposed to be, but it's just so irritating.
Ow. The Conclave is destroyed. Everyone who attended is dead. Except for you.
Anyway, after the interrogation, the story immediately shifts into one of those only you can save the world type plots. Pretty standard in a fantasy action RPG. As far as gameplay goes, overall it's not too bad. It's also not too great. Character movement is pretty good. I mean, they move fluidly, lifelike, even in combat. I should say you can jump, so it gets that autosave seal of approval, of jumpness. Anyway, the main story quests, which are pretty awesome, they resemble the linear gameplay style from Dragon Age Origins. Sadly, this does not extend to the other quests. All the side quests are unfortunately bland and boring, and they consist mostly of endless exploration and searching for specific places and landmarks. Really tedious. It resembles what an MMORPG does to help the player level out and just to keep them wasting time. There really is no place in a single player game. I was very disappointed doing those parts. There are some interesting puzzle elements, which when you complete unlock gear. But other than that, the game essentially does revolve around combat and endless exploration. Inquisition has a variety of gear and items, and thanks to its crafting style, item sets do exist, but they're nowhere near as good as they were in Origin, for some reason. This is pretty disappointing, as you just never get that epic final armor. You just craft some decent armor and go to the end of the game with it. It's not even that useful. Magic skills in this game are decent, but they're unfortunately really just dumbed down versions of the same skills as Origin. In most cases anyway. There are some new classes, and they did remove some old ones, but for the most part, it's not very good. Yeah, so for some odd reason the game has removed all healing magic, and it replaced it with a silly barrier system, which is really just a bitch to operate because you're constantly just throwing up barriers. The one usually take 2 mages in your party and constantly just cycle between them. It's very irritating. I'd rather just be able to heal the party and not worry about it for a while instead of maintaining barriers infinitely. I have to say, even though Inquisition's story is decent, you do often forget you're supposed to be doing something story related. There's so much side quests, so much exploration, most of it really tedious. And yeah, you just don't know what you're doing half the time. So this is really all due to the way side missions are accessed. In addition to the problems with all the exploration, you begin these side missions by going to the war table, which is a type of menu. And you select a mission from there. The only problem is these missions take time to complete or unlock. Sometimes hours, sometimes 3-4 hours. And yeah, so there's literally a countdown timer telling you when you can do this or when that area will be unlocked or whatnot. Luckily, this stupidity can actually be circumvented by changing your computer's clock forward and then just putting it back. It's useful, but if you do that, chances are you'll be really over-leveled to do the story missions. The game has some pretty good cutscenes, though they are few and far between. Good thing is they act like motivation for the player to get through those really boring exploration parts I talked about. The in-game graphics are much improved from earlier installments of the series. They do a good job of making the player believe they're in Thedas and not in their basement eating ramen in Hot Pockets. Soundtrack's pretty good, I have to say. It's definitely passes the bar. Although it is usually just multiple interpretations of the main Dragon Age theme. Still, they're good mix-ups. The game boasts a variety of colorful characters, but unfortunately they only really become memorable towards the end of the game. And I'll leave it there to avoid spoilers, but what I will say is they retcon Liliana for some reason. Instead of having a French accent, she now has a British one, which is weird.
Yes, and in Val Royeaux and across the Free Marches. The Winter Palace is not the only target.
I don't understand. Did they get a new voice actress? Did she just forget how to Liliana? Anyway, and since we're on the topic of accents, what the hell's up with Cassandra? Is she French? What is that? Is it Austrian? I don't know. She kind of sounds like Arnold Schwarzenegger's autistic French cousin. Anyhow, that's what you get for hiring a Brit to do a French accent. I have to say, this game is still better than Dragon Age 2. It's just unfortunate that it's a mere shadow of the glory that was Dragon Age Origins. On the pro side, the combat is fun. Character animations for the most part are quite lifelike. The story's fairly good, and there are some returning characters. The cons, however, are more numerous. They rewrote some of the returning characters, but what pisses me off about this game is the uncertainty of dialogue. Dialogue option never reflects what the characters will actually say. This ambiguity extends to the options presented in the game. For example, when you start, you have the option to import a world, import a save state, and this is never explained. It's not, you have no idea what this is. So at first you're like, oh, maybe it's just some mods, so you click no. I just want to play the vanilla game before I add mods. But as it turns out, what this is it allows you to import a save file of Origins or Dragon Age 2, and that would have been really awesome, because then I would have had my Dragon Age Origins character, Hero Ferelden, present in that world, and all the choices I made would have been reflected, but, you know, they don't actually tell you what that does. Would have been cool. Why, BioWare? Why? Kind of a side note, after 200 plus hours on this game, I've killed a lot of enemies. I mean, just, I have no idea how many, but it's easily in the thousands. But, you know, I've never asked them a single question. So I'm really not sure why it's called Inquisition. There's not much inquisiting, even though you're the Inquisitor. It's just probably a catchy name or something.
Didn't expect a kind of Spanish Inquisition. Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
Anyway, I can't really tell you guys to get this game. The only way I could really justify recommending it is if it was priced around $40 or less. I don't know, I think I'd have to give it about a 6 out of 10. 6.5 if you include the Trespasser DLC. Even then, It's a bit of a stretch because the price goes up, but the game does get better. Anyway, that's what I think about this game, so feel free to leave your comments and questions in the comment section below. And if you liked it, please subscribe and like the video. And click there? Here. I don't know what I did with the box, but yeah, to see a previous episode. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care.